YouTube, welcome on in. My Twitch boys are here. We've been waiting for you guys. It's been a while since we've had a review, but I have a special guest, a good friend of mine, BigSmo. Smo, would you mind introducing yourself to YouTube?
All right, I'm Smo. I just played Epic Sim for a few years, I guess.
Okay.
I actually didn't really play Epic 7 as much until when RTA announced for the first season, and then actually to begin with, I just collected heroes and played the game like casually. And at some point when RTA got announced, I started to look at the game a bit more competitively, if that makes sense.
You say that, Smo, but ever since I've known you, you've always been a legend player, no? Have you? How often have you been legend every season?
I haven't actually. Season 1 and Season 2, I think I was a champion player. So back in Season 1, I was like what you would expect most people would have a win rate of, like 50% or something. And then I just gradually, I guess, got better. And at some point in Season 3, which was the most competitive season, I think, due to the World Cup.
That's when you started being legend
there, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, so then tried to consistently get it, and
yeah, sounds good.
Managed to do it.
Smo, if I were to look at your battle log, would it be indicative of how you normally play, or were you testing stuff? Can we take a glimpse at
I was just playing around and stream sniping, so you can have a look if you want to.
Yeah, you were stream sniping a certain individual here. Okay. It is what it is.
Also previously.
So, Smo, this draft on your left-hand side, Kawerik, Remo, Hua Young, Fallen Cecilia, and Lionheart. That's not your normal playstyle?
I mean, I think my playstyle is kind of flexible in a way, but I don't cleave, so that's the thing.
You don't cleave, but you're more flexible. Would you say you're more standard or more aggressive?
I'm more standard. So
standard, he is,
much
okay.
more like Bruiser, tanky stuff.
Bruiser player, chat. Okay. Now, Smo, we're going to take a look at your units. Please share any info you have on them while I show everyone the gear from this legend player. He is unorthodox, I think, but he said he's Bruiser standard. Smo, if you don't mind sharing, you don't have to say the exacts, but how much money do you think you spent in this game called Epic 7?
I would say, I guess most people would see it as a dolphin level.
Okay.
Because
explain to the people what that means.
It could range from usually monthlies only and burning passions only, and then it could range up to sometimes occasionally buying, some of the stuff that pops up. Before it was like the seasonal ones they had, like the 100 ones.
Yeah.
And when gear packs announced, I tried it a little bit, but I didn't really like it because it's a scam in a way.
So a lot of whales love the gears, but to be clear, I don't like them either. I'm not the biggest fan, but yeah. So you're not a fan. He says dolphin level guys. That's kind of me too. Usually monthlies and just leafs, or sorry, burning passion. But then sometimes, like he said, he'll buy the holiday packs when they look nice, right? Okay, Smo.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it over a few years and it accumulates, I guess it's a few thousand. So
that's
not sure approximately how much it is, but it's around there.
So definitely not free to play, boys. And for some of y'all, quite a big investment. But compared to other legend players, probably less than most. Okay, Smo, let's start the review. And would you mind? Where are you from, if you don't mind sharing?
I'm from Denmark, so that's why it's midnight here.
My man. All right. You boys represent. Okay, Smo, let's go down the list. First up, Kisei. And this Kisei, how often is she used? Let's show the stats. 291 speed. Oh my god. What do you think about Kisei, Smo? Is she very important to your draft?
She's a really good last pick. When you can see there's an opening for it, so you can use it to, as like you used to do before, to disrupt like LQCs and such. She can. I mean, when there's no speed contesters, she's also really good in those situations.
So I'm gonna be honest.
She can actually pop off.
For you could probably even beat some speed contesters at that speed. But I know what you're saying. How does she work versus Hua Young?
Hua Young, I haven't really tested that much against Hua Young, but it's because the thing is usually with Hua Young, people usually pair her with Para or
Right.
Lilias and such, so I wouldn't
can't
really
run
dare
Kisei there.
to
Okay.
grasp Kisei in those situations.
Fair enough.
So that's the thing.
All right, well, guys, we're starting off strong. One of the best Kiseis we've seen. Jeez, this is like my Kisei, just 30 speed higher. All right. Arbiter Village, and you have the skin on, Smo. What do you think about the RB skin while I show your stats?
I'm not really that much of a fan, but I just put it on because I got it. So.
Yeah, all right. He's not a big fan, guys. I like it. It is what it is. Okay. The RB, though, Smo, very high damage. Typical speed, not mega fast. We just maximize damage, correct? Where do we use him?
I don't really use him that much, so he's basically got... in the case of, like, if I can draft RB in these situations where he can wipe out the enemy without them, having an answer for it, he's a really good fifth pick.
Okay. But for
those
you, not use
situations,
too much. Next up is Straws.
Not much at all.
Strays. How often do we use him, Smo? The build looks good, guys. 248 speed with good enough attack and crit damage, so obviously very fast. Remember, Smo said he's more of a Bruiser player, though. So how often do we use this guy?
Probably not at all, I guess. I actually, in cases where I can flex to aggro draft, I can perhaps draft him. But the thing is, Strays' weakness is with his S3, he can't really control who he actually wants to kill, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, very good gear nonetheless. A Coley, is she being played, Smo? The stats look good for a maybe tank buster style, but that's not as popular anymore.
Yeah, it isn't as popular anymore, but I mean, she is geared for it in case of
Panset, yeah.
if I want to make use of her to kill tanks and such, I guess.
Okay, Triple S, of course. All right. Top Model Luka. This is one, Smo, that she's one of your higher CP units, and a lot of players have dropped her in favor of units like Milim. What do you think about TML?
I mean, with this speed of TML, like, she will be able to outspeed most Arbiter Wildred and also kill it, I believe, so with these stats. But I haven't really drafted the Top Model Luka at all, because there hasn't really been much Arbiter Wildred out there.
Yeah,
and
but if you need her, she's ready, but you don't draft her too often.
Yeah, she's ready.
Okay.
It's just units that are ready for you. So, in case of these situations happen.
Got it. All right, next up, Celine, guys, recently got mega buffed. Smo, do you have thoughts on, I'm sure you do, 27 artifact, and you're using the stealth EE. What do you think about her, Smo?
She was actually geared a lot better before, until she really didn't work as most people wanted her to do. So the thing is that the enemy can just choose to not use any of the non-skill abilities and then just S1 and kill her.
Yeah.
So that's the main issue of currently with Celine. But she is draftable in some situations, so
sure,
that's why she's still geared. Much
better than she used to be. But guys, did you hear what Smo said? He dropped some gear on her because in his findings, a lot of times his opponent will just play around her, which is still good, but he said it's not justified because they'll just not cast the skill, and then you said they just kill her, right? With his S1? Or what?
Yeah, S1. It's usually just Conquer Lilias. You can just S1, pull one of their damage dealers, and she dies.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of feel the same. She hasn't been, her kit is obviously great, but the players just play around it. Okay, Judge Kisei next on Champ Trophy. Is this Smo? What is it? What the heck am I looking at?
She's used as also like a 4th and 5th pick against ML Carrick and such.
Ooh.
If they draft like ML Carrick, even stuff like Remo and LQC and such, and they have no speed contesters, she can be there to disrupt them. And then, basically, if they have no skills to use, you can just kill them off.
I like it. So in that kind of build, Smo, with the Champ Trophy, you're about like, what, 100 effectiveness? Is that good enough? So you opted for more damage? Main priority speed. Like you said, you'll bring her when there's no speed contester, but you wanted some damage on her instead of going like a lot of effectiveness?
Yeah, I wanted to have her have some kind of presence, if that makes sense.
Sure,
So,
and you're mainly
and
targeting.
with the effect,
Go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
and with the effectiveness, it is enough for those characters that go some year.
Coerix, Remu, like you mentioned. Okay, guys, I kind of like this tech. I might have to try this out with a champ trophy, and I actually have one max limit broken Smo. One of the very few players. Anyone have a max limit broken champ trophy? All right, Milim. Smo, thoughts on Milim? You have TML and Milim built.
Milim is just against Landis in general, perhaps
Okay.
sometimes Violet and even Celine. She's like kind of Bruiserish build, so she doesn't really die that easily. But I don't really draft her that much anymore.
Only
because
when you
she
see
isn't
Landis.
really as viable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Have y'all been finding the same guys? A little bit less Milim here and there? A Rasmo, is this more for PvE or does he get play in RTA?
He's usually just for PvE, but he does see some play in RTA because I mean the stats are kind of there, so
Yeah.
he can just
He has PvP or
make
RTA
work of
stats.
it.
When would you want to draft him?
I guess if I want to go more like a solo DPS style, so if I wanted to draft like 3 supporters and 2 damage dealers, so one of the damage dealers perhaps gets
The
banned,
yeah,
so he
for his
can
dual attack. Okay,
in
makes
those
sense.
situations,
Sure.
yeah, enable them.
All right, let's see the Spec Tenny guys. A lot of people have been differing on the Spec Tenny build, so we're not lifesteal, it's Unity. I've seen a few Unity users out there, and you still opted for some bulk, right, Smo? Not a lot,
Yeah.
but you still have some bulkiness on her. How do you feel about
the
Spec
bulk
Tenny?
is there for the survivability, and there's cases where you're against like Emulsermia and such, and I don't want
Yes.
her to just get one shot by it.
Smo, I fed on so many glass cannon. They do a lot of damage. They wouldn't one-shot my other DPS, but they die to, yeah, Lionheart Sermia. Okay. Well, Unity build, guys. Looks good. All right. Ludwig up here. What the heck? Rage set, so Banshee one-shotter?
Not really, just a for fun build. So if I use him like together with Bazaar and Guild Wars and such, I can use Ludwig.
Oh, it's for Guild War. Fun for Guild Wars. Okay. Damn.
I mean, I can also draft him in RTA in some instances, but I don't really do it. But it
Sure.
could be fun to try it out.
It must be nice. All right. Spirit Isoline at plus 15 Smo. Oh, not triple S. B rank. Lifesteal set
Just
with good
B
speed.
implant.
Yeah. How do you feel about Spirit Isoline? I think she made a splash when she first came out. A lot of people really liked her. But I feel like, especially as the season gets a little more serious, we see her less and less, right?
Yeah, that's right. But it isn't like she's weak at all, I think. But
Uh-huh.
she's really hard to draft in some situations. But if she is draftable and she goes through the draft, she can actually make a huge impact in the game and 1v4 in those situations.
Smo says, still very strong, guys, and in the right draft, 1v4 easy. Yeah, I've been 1v4. Okay. Closer Charles on plus 30 Violet Talisman. Smo, how often do you draft the Closer Charles as a Bruiser player?
It's for the aggro pivot. So
Yeah.
if I can see I need to pivot towards aggro, I draft the Closer Charles. And he's there for the attack buff, but also the damage, and push up your team. And he can also be really good in those tempo situations.
So, guys, another player, right? A lot of these legend caliber players always have the ability to pivot and take advantage of different scenarios. Not a lot of people can do it because you need a lot of units and then you need a lot of different gear, but aggro pivot, he says. All right, Tempest Siren. Do we need to talk about her at all, Smo? What do you think?
Not really. I think she hasn't really seen play since forever, I guess.
Yeah. Call is trying to bring her
But
back.
she has some gear for it, and also effectiveness with the.
Okay, maybe if a perfect scenario happens, right? We can bring her out.
Yeah, that's true.
Landy. Unity too, guys. Not only the Stenny, Landy's on on Unity. What the? So very bulky. Smo, do you draft her a lot?
I draft her sometimes. She hasn't really been drafted as much as like she did in her previous seasons,
Yeah.
where she was at the peak of performance. But she is draftable and she has bulk, so she doesn't really get killed that easily.
Yeah.
And the Unity is just in these cases where the units with stealth can take advantage of it, where perhaps immunity isn't as necessary, but yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
No, that makes sense. You don't need the crit chance. He's saying because of stealth, like the landing the Spec 10 guys, he doesn't need immunity per se, so he likes the Unity set. And Landy S1s guys, Spec 10 S1s, we all know tilting as heck. If they just get those S1s, that can sometimes decide a match. Okay. AOL. Smo, that's a lot of effectiveness. 27 Spirit's Breath. Is she an integral part of your draft or no?
She is draft. I'm not sure if she's like a core part of my draft.
Yeah, core.
I don't really like to draft Angel of Light so much, but
is that for
she is still a really
reasons?
good unit. Yeah, I don't.
You think she's too?
I guess
scummy.
Not really. It's just not really my style to draft her that much, but
it's not a style. Fair enough.
She's geared for it, and she can stop those that has like high ER.
Yeah, very good effectiveness, very good bulk, good enough speed. I'd probably want to shift to a build like this. Okay. Green Ufine PvE Smo? Is this just PvE? Something random?
Yeah, it is PvE stuff.
Okay.
You can also say world boss unit.
Yeah, it has immunity. All right. Wanda, I think I saw. Were you playing a little bit of Wanda in RTA, or is this just for?
Yeah, I played Wanda in RTA for fun.
Yeah, tell people.
And she has been working in those situations.
Okay.
For example, against Rimuru and Violet.
Yeah.
So if she is able to S3 the Rimuru and stop him, and she's stealth and she's protected well to not get out of stealth like with FCC. If she's paired with FCC, she's worked really well in this situation.
Okay, he says.
And
with
the
FCC.
rage chase is just amplifying her damage because of her passive when she can apply the target debuff.
Right, sure. And you said you like her versus Remu?
Yeah, and Rylets too.
And Rylets, okay. Briarwitch Iseria Smo. She's a terror for me. How do you feel about Bryceria?
She's I recently got her from coin shop, so.
And how do you feel about that choice? Was that a good buy? Good purchase?
I think it was a decent buy.
Decent.
She gets banned in these situations where I draft her against, for example, Rimuru, because he doesn't really like to get unbuffable.
Yeah, I have to
and and other situations as well.
Smo, would you ban their when you bring Iseria out? Do you ban their Amelia or their solo cleanser?
Definitely, okay. I will ban those units.
That's why she has to be banned. All right, Solitaria, who just got buffed, guys, and this one is weird. Chat. I don't know, Smo. Do you have an opinion on how she works post buff? I don't know what to make of her.
She's actually really good right now.
Look
and
at this
the way you want to
tell us.
Yeah. The way you really want to build her is the ER variant, and because you don't want her to get disrupted by Conquer List and such. Okay. And if you already have like bans, for example, I don't know, Emil Carrick, and you have taken the other cleanser like Emilia, and then you have the Solitaria, and they probably don't have an answer for it.
Interesting. So,
and even if they think they can debuff and provoke the Solitaria with Lilias, it's not possible.
Because of the ER. Okay. So you're running her like how people used to run Dizzy? You build her full control. No damage with the Fairy Tail artifact. You're wanting to just stun.
Yeah, I will want her to do her job like as a debuffer.
Control debuff. Okay, with ER, guys. I think a lot of people were trying like a damage build with the Fairy Tail artifact. And he said he's liking this build. Very nice. Try it out, chat. Okay. Fallen Cecilia. This is a high effectiveness FCC health. A little bit low, Smo. But the defense very nice. And of course the effectiveness good enough. Is she your main tank? Is she the #1 tank you pick?
She is one of my main tanks I pick.
Still very good stats though. Yep.
She's still really good to draft. especially now because of Hua Young. So you really want that barrier to make sure your units don't really get killed also.
Oh, so stock's going up a little bit for FCC because they were kind of wavering mid-season, right, before Hua Young came out. She wasn't seen as the #1 tank necessarily anymore. But now you're saying with Hua Young, you pick her the most. Okay. Kayron, just give it to them straight, Smo. Is Kayron, is he good or is this copium?
You don't really see Kayron at all. This is just an old build, and I hadn't really changed it. So
it's a guys. Imagine having an awesome counter set just chilling. Smo, how do you feel about Moonlight Kayron? Are you a fan? Do you want him to come out or no?
I'm not really much into male characters, but I still play them because they're meta. So.
Hey, Smo, you just described me. Amen, brother. Amen. Hua Young. Chat wanted to see this one. They were saying it's a little bit lower CP than they were expecting. Chat, here's the build. Immunity speed, 30 Uberius. Imprint situation is B rank only. And Smo, how do you feel about Hua Young in your build? Give us just some quick thoughts.
My build is not optimal, so she just has the gear I could manage to do. Took like a little bit from Senja, so took a little bit by Carrot, and then tried to mash up some stuff and see how it works from there. Right now she's dominating the meta as of now.
Yeah,
he's like grabbed in every match, so she's really annoying to deal with.
So you're
but
saying,
I have her.
Yeah, she's not your best geared unit. You haven't optimized her. You kind of just stole a few things here and there, but she's dominating the meta. For you, is she performing well on this build?
She performs. I think she doesn't really need that high of gear quality to make her make her work.
Thank you. Because Smo, there's some people in my chat. I won't say any names, but they were saying you really want triple S Hua Young to make her work, guys. We have a legend here saying he just threw on whatever B rank imprint, and he's saying she's already working just fine. Okay. Now, for a lot of y'all watching, this is already insane gear, but for Smo, he could probably do better, right, Smo? You could probably improve her if you stole some other gear.
Yeah, I can improve on her, but I don't really want to.
All good, all good. Dominating the meta, he says. Summertime Iceria, Smo? She's built.
Not used.
Not used, but...
She is kind of built, not really. I guess I can draft her to, like, bluff, in a way.
To bluff? Or to steal?
Yeah.
Do you ever use her to steal from a cleaver?
I haven't really drafted her at all.
Okay.
But the thought was there in case of, like, if I really don't have any other choices, I guess I can pick her up.
Just in case. All right. Guys, we'll take questions right after. Stay tuned. We'll have Smo do a quick Q&A. Carrot on Edika's, which I think for the Smo, for the Bruiser players that aren't trying to kill fast, Edika's, is this your favorite for her over Book?
It really depends. Sometimes when I queue up, if I see I need to use Book instead, I'll change it. But usually I just use the Edika's.
Yeah, I like
because she works better in the prolonged battles.
Exactly.
But also against like the Lion and such.
Now, Smo, my only question is: the stats look good. How important do you think having that 69 nice effectiveness is? Is that intentional? Getting that much? Not 69, but having more than like 30, 40, 20.
I think some effectiveness can be good, but that was only back then when Mate was a more prevalent unit.
Right. Nowadays, you think you could drop some effectiveness now?
I could probably drop some effectiveness, but I really haven't done that because, as I said before, I took some gear.
Sure.
And
just for
did some re-enragement to give some to Hua Young as well.
Yeah.
So.
All right. All good. Sage Ball next. This guy is interesting. He, I don't know what to say, Smo. You take the floor. What do you think about Sage Ball in the current meta?
I tried this build because it kind of looked like it worked against like Paradraft.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. But he has this build for now.
I like how you're using some of the new Guild Inheritance because he doesn't want effect resist, and with the Bastion of Hope, we're sitting at a pretty comfortable ER versus Paras. Speed also looks nice for the CR push. But yeah, Smo's saying he's not sure. I had this build too. I've kind of just stopped using him though. All right. Anything else you want to say about him, Smo?
Not really.
Still testing. Okay. Guys, hand guy, Smo, tell the players how important this man is to everybody. And if you don't own him, you feel sad. How do you feel about Mediator Kowarik?
I would say he's like a lifesaver for most of the drafts I do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's just too good. So
he's that good. He's a lifesaver. Smo, if a player doesn't have him, what words would you share with them?
I wish you luck.
Okay. Thank you. Sermia, any use? PvE.
Sermia is for fun, so he has some gear.
For fun. Okay. Fairy Tale Tenebria. On Twilight Calamity, Ida's artifact. Is she being used? What is this?
Yeah, she's used. I tried to make her like a split DPS, split debuffer.
Yeah, guys, some damage on this, a little bit of damage on her, right?
Yeah, I tried to mix those stats. It hasn't really worked that well, but she still has the effectiveness, so...
Okay.
So in that case, I want to draft her against, like, Maid.
Yeah.
She should perhaps work in some instances, but now with Bastion of Hope, I'm not really sure.
He's not selling it, though, guys. He said he's testing it, and so far it's not working too well. But Smo is he's an innovator. He's testing things out. All right. Mui? Smo, any use?
That's World Boss.
World Boss.
World Boss unit.
Smo, what do you think about just her looks?
I like Mui.
You like her?
Actually, that's also one of the reasons why she's plus 14, even though she doesn't really need that much more or less. But,
True. Okay, I'll ask at the end your favorite waifu. Shadow Knight Pillis on counter set with Noble Oath. I've noticed now a few like the Raz, Smo. You don't use Aureus on these kind of units. Can you explain just how Shadow Knight Pillis works, and then maybe a little bit about Aureus?
The reason why she's on Noble Oath is it works better in Guild Wars.
Oh,
because
this is a Guild War.
then she would get targeted in that sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But for RTA, it's probably better to use Aureus, but I'm limited on my Aureus, so...
And she's mostly used for Guild Wars right now?
She's also used for RTA, but...
the stats are very good.
It's kind of scary if you don't have Aureus, so...
Yeah.
But she still works.
She still works. Okay. Assassin Sid. 310 speed. Here's his contester, boys. On Wind Rider. Crit damage non-existent, but attack very nice. And speed very nice. Smo, is he a lifesaver? You just bust them out when you try to you need to contest?
Yeah, he is a really good unit to have, just in case, like, if the opponents decide to cleave you.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I put him on Wind Rider instead of, like, other artifacts is if I kill someone with Acid and they have an A Robbie, they won't be able to rest right away. So if I can manage to control it and make sure that the A Robbie doesn't get a rest on, I guess.
Yeah.
In that sense, I can perhaps take a win from there.
I love that idea, guys. So if y'all, just to clarify, the Wind Rider is mainly because, and you kind of said this about Celine a little bit, right, Smo? When we look at a unit's value and their trade potential, a lot of times Assassin Sid, he'll kill or stop a unit because he's the contester. But what happens, Smo? The A Ravi kills him and then brings a unit back, right? So he has the Wind Rider to stop those shenanigans. Sounds obvious after you talk about it, but I don't see a lot of Assassin Sids on Wind Rider, so it's definitely, I like that tech. I might try it out. I don't think I can kill, though. His is way better than mine. All right, anything else on Acid, Smo?
Not really.
Okay. Luna! My chat knows this. YouTube, you guys should know this too. My absolute favorite wife who I've never disrespected her. I have a picture frame of her right here. Smo, thoughts on Luna?
Other than she's plus 15 and triple S, sadly she isn't, for RTA purposes, but she can still be used for expos and such.
Smo, tell
and
them.
I have her on gear mixed up with Revenge and Penset, I guess.
Please tell them, Smo. I also triple S'd plus 15 her because I love her, but she's just not that good in RTA right now, right? So, hey, can you blame me and Smo, guys, for anytime you criticize me, you're criticizing Smo, so stop it. Doris. Any use?
I guess if they draft really heavy dark units and Rylets and such,
But-
she can see some play there.
But almost never.
Yeah, almost never in this meta.
Okay. Well, guys, here is one that is used a lot in the meta. Apocalypse Robbie. Oh, God, Smo. You are a dirty man. Proof of Valor, 26k health. 2k attack, very good damage still, good enough speed. Smo, what do you have to say for yourself on this Apocalypse Robbie?
She wasn't really usually on Proof of Valor, but there was a certain unit that came 2 days before the RTA ended.
Yeah, a certain unit, yep.
So that's why I needed to do some measurements against it, so that's why she's on Proof.
To be clear, guys, this is anti-Hua-Young tech, right? Does this it also works versus LQC, Smo?
Yeah, she can also work against LQC.
Okay, so he said it wasn't always like this.
If
but
they don't have that tag buff.
Sure.
There's some LQCs with that tag buff with really low HP that might be able to kill her.
Sure, I believe it. Okay, well, this was for anti-Hua-Young because she was destroying all A-Robbies. All right, try this out, guys. If your A-Robbie's just dying, just get 26k health and stop on Proof. Rylet Smo, this is one that a lot of players. Not fully molded, Smo. But stat line looks solid enough. The stat line looks solid, right? We got a little bit of the bulk we need, speed. Very, very similar to mine. How do you feel about this unit?
I don't really draft him that much. He's a coin unit, so I got both Braceria and Remnant Violet together from the coin shop.
Okay.
So he doesn't really have my premium gear, if that makes sense.
Okay. He not the premier gear, which makes me feel worse because I said yours is like mine. But Smo, I asked you, do you regret your purchase of Rylet with coins?
Probably not. I do think he's still really, really good.
Just not the best for you right now, or not? You don't use him that often right now.
Yeah, probably because I don't have any imprints on him, and I think imprints on Rylet is really important because it's a lot of stats.
Yeah, crit chance.
And he isn't plus 15 either, so that's why he doesn't really see much play.
All right. Well, he says very good, guys. Doesn't regret it. Falconer Clury. Does she get played?
She doesn't get played, but I mean, she has some gear
She
in
does
case
have
I
gear.
want to draft her.
Okay. Guys, it must be nice being a player of Smo's quality. 40% of the units we look at, they don't see any play, but if he had to, right? If y'all put him in a position, he has all these units ready to go. And their gear is probably better than, I know for sure, me and some of y'all watching these units that don't get played. Holiday Fiend, Smo, she was at your table. Is she one of your favorites? Lifesteal build.
Yeah, she's one of my favorites, but sadly she doesn't see as much play.
Okay.
So she's more like for anti...
Fairy Tale?
I guess anti-Bazaar and anti-Fairy Tale Tenebria unit.
Yeah, which don't come up
So
too
she will
often.
still be able to cut and, you know, make sure your own team doesn't get debuffed in that sense.
All right. Mercedes. Which, by the way, guys, if y'all in here, Tris was telling me y'all can get the skin now. Did y'all know this? You can buy the skin now without getting the art book, in case y'all weren't aware. Digital download. All right. How often do we use Mercedes, Smo? The lifesteal build is interesting.
Initially, I used her a lot. Right now, not as much, but she's still draftable. Yeah, in some situations. I'm not exactly sure what kind of situations because I feel like there's currently better units to just use instead.
Okay. Situational. Better units for him right now. Crow. Guild War. Oh. Another on Revenge. The other one was Luna, which was more for fun. Crow on Revenge, though, Smo. Is this real?
I mean, yeah, he is on Revenge and he does see some play.
Okay. The stat line is very nice.
Yeah. Because of the units like Emothermia, maybe also Hua-Young he can be used against if they are lower HP range.
Yeah.
He can be able to horse them. I think Crow can perhaps see some more play in this meta than the previous ones.
Okay. Looks good. Next up, Remo. This is a hybrid build. No pen set, but very tanky on Draco and also damage. Smo? What do you think about Remo as a unit? And then for you, how do you feel about Remudu?
Remo right now is still among the top picks, so you always see him as the first or second pick unit.
Yeah.
And that's sadly how it is, so that's why he has some decently good gear on him.
Okay. But you personally, it kind of sounds like you don't really like to use him that often, if you had a choice.
I mean, if you want to play competitive, you have no choice to draft him.
True. Guys, that's just a true statement. All right, well, how do you like the build? Last thing I'll ask about him, we'll move on. The emphasis on a lot of health and defense, right, compared to some? Not full tank, but very bulky.
Yeah, he will survive quite a bit.
Okay.
But perhaps I wouldn't change his build in the future to be more damagey and less bulky.
Okay. More damage, he says, maybe in the future. Archdemon Mercedes. Archdemon's Shadow. Smo, this is a unit I've seen you use, correct? Quite a bit?
Yeah, I use her a lot.
Okay. So it's ER build, Smo. Attack focused. Interesting. Talk to us about this ER Meru. I think that's... The chat is not a big fan because they're going to fight you, Smo. They're going to try to debuff, taunt you, stop you from S3ing, and then they're not going to be able to. So your trade-off is obviously no crit damage. You still have the bulk, but you have a lot of ER. How do you feel about this, Smo? Is this your preferred build?
I think it's my preferred build because it's just annoying, I guess, for the opponent because they can't really stop her as easily. And she does also do some damage because of she has some attack on her. So.
Yeah, she still can do damage, but chat is not a fan because they don't like fighting it, Smo. Do you care? Do you care what they think?
I'm sorry, but that's how the meta is. So
Tell them, dude.
To play along.
Sorry. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. Just say that, Smo. Okay, Senya. She got some gear stolen, right, for Hua Young. Does she see play?
She does see some play, but not much.
When would you bust her out in a Smo draft?
I could perhaps use her against like Emerald Celine, maybe Violets and Rems, but you don't really see that much unless you are the one cleaving. Yeah, that's why she had a lot of more attack, but her gear got stolen by Huayong, so she has less attack but more bulk. Sure. But she still works.
All right. Sigrid, we had a viewer ask about your Wyvern build, which we'll check out after, but this is just PvE, right? PvE, Free Spirit Tier, PvE. Lilius, is this PvE as well? We'll just go through quickly.
Lilius isn't. She was used before Emerald Semia was a thing.
Before
so she
Lionheart
was an
came out.
anti-AOL tech.
Sorry, what was that last part again?
She was an anti-AOL tech.
Anti-AOL, yeah. A lot of players did that to fight AOL. But now with Lionheart out, you don't draft her because she's a liability?
She's a liability in those cases if you draft AOL and later on if you draft Emerald Semia.
Sure.
Then you kind of not in a good situation with the Lilius pick.
Okay.
Because the reason why you want Lilius is because of the Aureus, but also the fact you can take one of your damage dealer and give a lot of aggro back towards the one that used to say well.
Sure.
And usually when you're drafting Lilius, you're drafting it with Robbie, LQC,
strong S1
maybe S10A and ADS, and then you also have some other units to support them.
Sure.
To do that job.
They're talking about your 23 speed ring. All right, Smo, you kind of referenced a few times that some of your units were built with Maid Chloe in mind, but now you don't see her anymore. No one's picking her. Is that true?
I mean, people still pick her. Right now, I think more people are going towards the more bulky version with the Water's Origin build.
Okay.
But I still keep her on the FRES build, so she will be able to withstand the debuffs
and how often do you pick her, Smo? So this is your premier anti-debuffer?
I guess if I don't have Emerald Carrick, she's my second pick.
Okay.
Second choice of it.
Because
but she will be drafted. She will be drafted later on, not initially.
Sure. All right, we can move on from that. A Momo, PVE.
PVE.
Vivian, PvE, I'm assuming. I'm just going to go through Smo. You stop me if some of these are actual played by you in RTA. Watcher Shuri, PvE, Alencia, Politis, probably. Oh, Alencia, maybe? Revenge set?
Watcher Shuri is speed contest, so he has some damage and what is it called? He has the Sasha.
Yeah.
And Alencia is for fun, but she has some gear, so...
Sit tight, Matthias. We'll answer those questions right after. All right, yeah, so the Alencia, sorry to interrupt you, Smo. The Alencia has gear, Durandal plus 30, Revenge set, looks like good Bruiser stats. Do you play her often, though?
Yeah. Not really, not anymore. I wish they somehow made him more viable. Right now, she doesn't see much play.
So the buffs and the EE for you, or it was mostly just the EE, right? She didn't get any buffs, chat. I think it's just an EE. They're not enough, Smo, in your opinion? She needs a little bit more?
Yeah, I think so. I think the reason why you really don't want to draft her is because she doesn't do much other than... I mean, I guess the strip and the defense buff is good, but she doesn't provide any, like, damage or support afterwards.
She can't justify her spot compared to some other units right now. Fair. Politis, counter set, Smo with ER. Oh my god, Smo. Now I know why chat said they don't like fighting you. Smo, this is dirty. What do you have to say about this build?
This is an anti-Emililius build, so if they draft Emililius and they have, no other ways to deal with the Politis, I guess this is the way. So there's a plus 30 crown.
Yeah.
And if it procs, it's a good thing.
It's a very good thing for you.
Yeah, it's a good thing for me.
So this Politis will never die. She's very tanky. She has effect resist, so she can't be stopped. And she's even on counter to get even more S1 stun or abyssal procs. This is your favorite build so far for her, Smo?
I think so. I had a Bruiser variant before. It didn't really work that well.
Yeah.
And I also had a DPS version to begin with, but I couldn't really see the reason why I should do it because I don't really cleave, so there's no reason to have that kind of variant with book and such. So
and instead, Smo, is this very effective? Chat is speaking words, but how effective is this versus cleavers?
Versus cleavers, I don't think you're able to draft her against cleavers because they
take her.
They always first pick Politis, so
okay.
This is more like against Emililius and such.
Emililius, like you said at the start. All right, fair enough. I like this build, guys. If I had some counter gear that was all bulk and ER, I guess like Soul Weavers, yeah, it looks very good. Okay, Troublemaker Crowset next. Smo, anything? I mean, this is a standard T Crowset build, right? Anything you want to say about him? I think it's
he is on budget gear.
The ER is a little bit lower. Use him that much. Yeah, your ER is a little bit lower than I would expect from your account, but you're saying budget, don't use him that often?
Yeah, I don't use it that often, but maybe in some instances of anti-cleave, but not really.
Okay. All right. Fire Robbie. So on the newly buffed El's Fist counter set, Smo, tell me you draft her when your opponent takes too many Earth units.
El's Fist is just a budget version of AK. I don't really have more than 2 secrets, so she just got this El's Fist.
Okay.
For now.
Yeah. For now.
If I had a third secret, I would probably put it on her.
All right.
But she has some good stats.
Yeah, so the build is good, right, chat? So how often do you bring her out?
I'll bring it out for fun, I guess.
Oh, so not for serious. Not when Smo is trying for legend, for fun. All right, Smo, we ready to move on from Robbie? Nothing else to say about it?
We can move on to the next one.
Let's move on. Last Rider Crow.
Last Rider Crow is some really budget stuff as well. That's even though I actually draft him a lot. But
you draft him a lot still, but he's taken more budget gear?
Yeah, he's on budget gear.
Okay.
Sadly, I don't have that type of gear.
Smo,
much of it, like HP, defense, and speed only.
Yeah.
Perhaps if I chose to do ER version, he will probably get better gear. But for now, I just put this on, and he still works. So it's
be
fine.
honest with me. Is this skill 1? Was this during the Golden Boys era when he first came out?
Yeah, it was during the Golden Boy era. As I said, I'm still kind of a meta player, so
yeah,
this
that's
is the
fine.
reason why he asked this.
That's okay. Chat might be cringing, but it's a good kind of cringe. They're not saying they're afraid to fight you, as am I. Conquer Lilius. Smo talked all about her. He has a lot of tech versus her, but if he wants to use her, the build very standard build. Any comments, Smo?
It is, as you said, it's very standard.
Mm-hmm.
There's not really much, different from other Conquer Lilius. Mine is probably worse than some others, but she's usable.
Yeah,
and
definitely usable.
You don't want really draft her for speed contest, so
sure,
it's fine as it is.
Okay, yeah, it looks good. Very good unit. DN, any play at all? I don't think I've seen a DN in a very long time.
Rarely picked, but maybe as a 5th pick.
And yeah, the stats are good enough.
For attack buff and the anti-crit.
Okay.
But not really.
All right, let's move a little quicker. Luka PvE?
Luka PvE.
Amelia. Definitely used, right, Smo? Lots of ER.
Yeah, she's used. And the ER is
speed.
also intentional.
Okay.
But it's probably not enough for AOL, but I don't really use Amelia against AOL, but for other instances of debuffers, she
the
works.
ones that are sitting around 100, right? Para, Conquer, Lilius, things like that.
Yeah,
okay.
Around there.
Looks good. All right. Lionheart, Smo, this is one of my favorite units. How do you feel about her?
Sadly, I don't have imprints as well. I think she really makes work of the imprints because she's gear hungry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and Moles as well.
But she has your symbol. Your symbol of unity. Just testing her right now?
It's one of the more effective, what is it called? Artifacts on her.
Yeah.
And she could also be on portrait, but I didn't really like it in cases where you want to draft against Violet and such.
Okay. Alrighty. Ruel. A lot of revenge set. A lot of revenge set from Mr. Smo. 30 Idols cheer. If he ever gets that Rylet running, how often do you draft her, Smo? Good build.
I guess I draft her if I really want to tank it down and, slow down the game and take it to 20, 6, 7, perhaps 8.
Yeah.
So it's those instances.
Okay. Crimson Armin. Very, very high health. Speed tuned for his team. Nothing else to say, right? Smo? Just
she's speed tuned for my team, so he's the one that is the slowest before my DPS units, and he's really tanky. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Very good health for Aureus. Okay. General Purgus plus 15. My goodness. Back when he was probably also Golden Boy era Bruiser. Any play nowadays?
Yeah, back when he was also really good.
Yeah.
You really wanted the extra damage on him.
Sure.
For the Bruiser variant, right now he's like used for Wyvern. That's why
mostly.
That's the artifact choice.
Yeah,
but I mean, he can be drafted for RTA with the stats he has, but
okay.
But yeah,
that's fair.
It's really hard to use him.
Fire Shuri, maybe for. Do you ever speed contest with him? Speed imprint?
Those are in cases I need speed contest, so that's why they are built.
Sure.
That's it.
All right, Yuna PvE.
Yuna PvE.
Para definitely used though. Whoa. Her own artifact, Smo. 303 speed, very high effectiveness, and even more with this. Is there a reason you opted for super high effectiveness build?
There's not really that much of a reason. It's just the highest speed I had for
mostly for the
this
gear.
kind of gear.
Okay.
So it works for him.
Other than that, guys, decent para, right? Good enough speed for him, and he has good effectiveness. Bloodblade Karen just for fun, I'm guessing.
Yeah, counter and immunity just for fun.
Just for fun. How about Tywin? Any play nowadays? This poor guy.
I mean, if he is really the best pick in those situations, I guess he does see
sometimes
like once or twice at max each season.
Once or twice in the entire season. All right. Hold on, Smo. I've seen you talk about or use this unit. Shu. Any thoughts on her?
She's a for fun unit, so I don't really see her as a meta pick. She's just picked
Definitely
whenever
not
I
meta
want
pick.
to have some fun.
So more for fun, but you're one of the few players that actually invest in her. 100% after this Azure Comet. He's on the S1EE, and it's a hey. I like the build. Anything you want to tell the people about Shu, Smo, or just as simple as it is, just for fun?
Just for fun. If you build her for the competitive reasons, that's kind of copium.
It's copium to build her competitively. All right. Bellion at plus 15 on injury. Smo, is this what combined with your Ruel? You tank down and you just try to injure them to death?
I mean, the lion can just be picked whenever, I think. She's used whenever I feel like it is the applicable, best case scenarios to use her for. She's injury because I'm a standard player, so
okay.
if the game is prolonged, I guess I just win in the end.
Sure.
She's very annoying to deal with, and I think the way I built her, the tanky way with some damage, makes her hard to kill.
All right, Smo, last question on Bellion, Bellion as you put it. How do you feel about counter set versus the injury for your playstyle?
Counter is better against anti-cleave. The lion is better for standard play.
So for
and
you,
the thing is,
go ahead.
The thing is, if you want to use the lion for standard play, people usually want to go like Rana and SB and such.
Mm-hmm.
So she works better in those situations. While with counter, if in standard play they can take advantage of it, like attacking the lion to get higher the counter attack proc, because it's 30% rather than 20, unless they are AoE. And also you would just, the enemy would just take advantage of it. But if you're injury for standard play and you protect the lion well, she will do a lot of work.
Okay, sounds good. Dizzy, coming back soon, guys. Guilty Gear collab, but I think now your main unit that works like Dizzy is Solitaria, right, Smo? Do you ever bring her out?
I tried to bring her out. She has done some work, but it's kind of hard to use it.
Okay, fair enough. Mort, any play at all? The Great Mortelix.
He's for fun. And the reason why he's triple S is I didn't pull on his banner, but he just keeps copying. He
wants to arrive for Smo. Silverblade Araminta, any thoughts on her?
Sadly, she doesn't see much play. So that's why her gear is like this.
Smo, do you think she's the #1 needed buffs for ML5s?
Yeah, but the thing is, if you touch a little bit, with the buffs, it can actually go in a bad direction and like getting overpowered in some way.
Okay.
I think she's like one buff away to be too good.
Whoa.
But at the same time, she isn't really in a good state at the moment.
True. All right. Well said. Well said. Ice Area PvE. I'm assuming, just stop me if I'm wrong. Ken PvE. Little Queen Charlotte on Hellcutter. Very tanky. Smo, is this enough attack though to kill like certain units sometimes?
It is, because the crit damage is compensated for it.
Okay. So make up the crit damage.
I think this is the bare minimum for the damage to deal with most situations.
Okay.
And the bulk is there. So
the bulk is very good, yeah.
That is it.
All right. Charles PvE, right? Fun. It's Guild Wars, maybe? That's a lot of...
Yeah, Charles is for fun.
Fun. Okay.
And this build makes him look like he's on counter, but he's actually not on counter.
Yeah, because he's 0 speed. Okay. Martial Artist Ken Smo. Any play at all? This is a lot of players would love to run him, but he's very hard to use.
He is geared for those situations where they have like DPS, I guess, and if they don't kill him, he will just hit back harder. Yeah.
The stat line looks good.
Yeah, the stats are there, but I don't really draft him that much. But he can be drafted.
Okay, can be drafted, doesn't see it too often. Even though, guys, he has high ER, right? High enough ER, and on the lifesteal build. It's very nice. Okay. Fighter Maya, no play at all lately, right, Smo? Elena, anything at all for Elena?
I used Elena before for anti-cleave against Rad. So if they don't have policies or any book holders, she will cut and then she will just is free. And they probably wouldn't be able to deal with it.
Sure, but nowadays, not as much?
Not as much, sadly.
Okay. Dark Corvus Guild Wars, Bike and Banshee, Seaside Bologna on injury. Smo, what is this? Does she actually get played?
She does get played.
Interesting.
The thing is, if you go with the injury route, you probably need to, protect her a lot more.
Sure.
Than needed.
Just like Billion.
Yeah, in that sense. But I think I actually prefer the lifesteal build, but I just have this, this kind of gear laying around and just put it on her.
Definitely viable.
I didn't really want to waste it.
And also, like you said with Belian, better versus Rowanna's. This kind of build.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Siren, PV maybe speaking test. Tenebria, no play. Charlotte, still being used here and there, right, Smo? Occasionally when you need it.
She's still being used. I actually also used her once for anti-cleave because of the Holy Sack.
Yeah.
So they probably think she already is dead, but then she comes back and then she's just S1 or S3 and wipes the team.
Yeah. Interesting. He was using this as an anti-cleave with the Holy Sack. All right. Bazaar. Anything? I don't think we need to say anything about Bazaar, right? Probably never used.
He is geared, so.
But
in those situations where Bazaar
will
can be effective in the draft, he's drafted.
Okay.
But yeah.
Larena, PvE, all these. The Rowanna, counter build, 100 ER guys. When he needs him, he has her. Champion Zerato.
Yeah.
Any play?
If they really go like full debuff team,
he's there.
He will probably be about 5th pick.
Okay. Like all of his units, guys, ready if he needs it, but probably not picked too often. Singelica just got buffed. Smo, any thoughts on her or no?
She can probably be used because of her buff. She's able to cleanse debuffs from Evelilia's the attack down, and if she's on the doctor's back, she's able to cleanse 2 debuffs, which is like a will and other stuff.
Sure.
So
okay.
In those situations, she can perhaps be used.
All right. Rem, I'm gonna skip. Says Rem on counter set 0 speed, looks tanky, has good attack, crit damage, very standard, very good Rem, right? Smo, nothing else to talk about her?
Yeah, it's a standard build.
Okay.
Not really much to talk about other than
Smo, oh, sorry.
How you usually would draft her for casino purposes.
Casino, yep. RNG. Standard. That's how he uses it. Okay. Dominio. Someone was saying, "Are you a Dominio player?" Why did they have that mixed up, or did you actually bust this girl out? She looks like she has gear on. No molas, but
I mean, I used her for this preseason together with Senya for anti-cleave.
Yeah.
So she's just for fun. It's basically a stone and tech from Lakari.
Okay. Stealing the pick. All right. Acades. Any RTA?
Acades is not used.
Not used. What about Spez? Smo, you have a very good Banshee set on a lot of your units. Does Spez see any play?
He doesn't see any play, but perhaps I want to try to make use of him.
Yeah.
If I draft like Para, Solitaria, and Spez.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I was thinking these units is because I got inspired by Korean Jesus.
By Korean Jesus. Okay. Haste. Don't need to talk about Violet on immunity, lifesteal, good bulk, 0 speed. So only anti-cleave, right, Smo?
Anti-cleave, yes.
Only anti-cleave. And yeah. Christy. How about her? She get played by you at all? With Temperance.
She doesn't see any play other than Guild Wars, I guess.
Just Guild Wars for now, okay. Cerise, Expeditions, any PvE?
Yeah, Cerise is Expos.
Expos, okay. Haste, Guild Wars probably right now. He hardly sees RTA play anymore.
He doesn't
Right,
see much RTA play. That's why his gear might look copium, but the stats are kind of there, so he's still draftable in certain situations.
Okay. Smo, I think then we've kind of hit the end of the road, right? I'm going to scroll through. Let me know if any unit we missed out on, but I think, right, Chad? That looks like that's about it for Smo's draftable and geared units overall.
Yeah,
I'm
it
pretty
is.
sure. Okay.
Kind of.
Well, Smo, we're gonna cut it here for YouTube. Stick around though. We'll answer some questions together for Twitch chat. But anything you want to tell the people as a legend player, a little bit. What did we learn from his account, guys? Lots of Banshee gear. Overall, he has a lot of backup units when he desperately needs them. But overall, standard bruisery. A lot of fun units. He plays a lot of fun units when he wants to. Smo, any last words you want to say?
Not much actually. So.
Okay. Well, Smo, I hope you will keep pushing legend. Thank you for joining us today. And don't forget, stick around, okay? Don't leave yet. All right. YouTube, take it easy. Make sure y'all come by the Twitch channel, because then you can get the follow-up. We'll see what Smo really thinks, because this is all fake. Just kidding. Smo, thanks for joining us. Bye, everybody.